Hi, y'all. So it is January the 12th of 2020, and it's time to update as to what's going on. It's been an incredible year, and then an incredible 2 years, and an incredible 2.5 years. And I sit here today in Washington State with my family, very blessed. There is a lot of healing going on, a lot of really good work, but there's some stuff in the family going on right now that my support was requested, and it was my privilege to bring that support back to my family. But along with that comes some things with, end of life issues with elders. So it's bittersweet. The nonprofit and the wellness center are not dead. They're just being formed differently. There's been a lot of things this year, and we're going to talk a lot about it, a lot of stuff. See how this video goes. I don't have the best of equipment right now, so I'm not sure if it's going to record or if I'm going to have to try and do it a live thing. So the nonprofit is called Prodigal Love Concepts, and that will be an umbrella type of organization of concepts, placeholder type thing. The Wellness Center will be called Port Sovereign Spiritual Well and Restoration Center, and that is the recreation and changing of recovery and turning it into restoration. And that's a huge project that's going to involve a whole bunch of collaborators and things that I do not yet have on board, don't know where they're coming from. Very excited to meet them when they arrive. And it'll all come out in the time that it's supposed to. So while I'm back here, of course, I looking for a job, have to be able to attend to my obligations and provide for myself. And then, of course, I need to be able to do that going forward as well. I've been very blessed in having stepped out and followed along the path. Things have come together as they were supposed to, and now I'm for the next steps. So while I'm here, I'll be getting a job and maybe building my own business so I can provide for myself in the future going forward. So in getting ready to do this, I was looking for a notebook, and I found the notebook that I have a majority of my notes in from the previous videos. And written on the cover of that notebook, I have labeled it My Narrow Gate. And inside the cover, I actually drew a picture of a narrow gate. And in contemplating that and realizing that this channel doesn't really have a direction or a purpose at this point right now, I thought, I think that's kind of what this will be. As I go through and review notes, things I learn, books I'm reading, things that make me laugh, good music, tips about how we nourish these physical vessels outside of the poisons of this food that we're in. Things like that. Maybe we'll talk about those kind of things. I don't know, really, because nothing is the same. Nothing. Everything that I knew before January 1st of 2020 is no longer relevant or real or true, because we're in a different everything now. The old tools won't work. Old skills don't work. Old knowledge is old knowledge. Everything is from a different energy in a different place. Recognizing that is a great place to start reviewing everything. I'm kind of calling it my second reset, because there was that one hard one in June of 2018. To be quite honest, there's been a couple pretty hard ones over the course of the last year. A couple of really hard ones, but it's been since maybe the beginning of December, right before my birthday. The hardest of the hard so far. And that's okay. I'm always up for a good challenge. They don't call me around for nothing. Thrive on that mess. Takes me a moment to thrive, though. Sometimes we have to go elsewhere first. So, in the past year, yeah, about the past year, November of 2018 to where we are right now, January 12th, 2020. People. Oh, I've been so blessed. So incredibly blessed to have met so many of you guys. I can't even list the names and faces of all of you that I've interacted with, spoken to, and just been so blessed to have you in the same world as me. And I've been blessed by that, and I appreciate that. Too many to name, and if I were to name names that just come to the top of my head, people get the wrong impression that somebody else is more important, and that's not the case. Excuse me. I love my beloved rainforest, but the breathing here, I do miss the breathing of Arizona. The places. Oh my gosh, you guys. Do y'all know what all I have done in the last 14 months? I swear, up and down this coast, 6 or 8 different times. I've had a blowout on the freeway at 70 miles an hour. I've had my car blow a head gasket in the middle of nowhere and creep home, stopping on the side of the road every half a mile for states. I've been run off the road by Fast and the Furious Toyotas on ice skates coming over Utah passes. I've been lost in the desert, almost drove off the edge of an ending cliff and thought that I might be camping there until I was somehow accidentally and randomly found, until crows led me down the side of a cliff. Literally. That's just like nothing of the incredible experiences and places. And always the people. Always the people. You guys always there. Always. So blessed. The expansions. I mean, sometimes it's like expansion pack. Okay, next. It's like sometimes it's just, it used to be that fast. Now I've got to pause and just make sure it's authentic. We're in that time where we have to be so careful and truth. It's spoken, if possible, even the elect will be deceived, right? And, everybody's got their ego on. Oh, well, it's only says if it could be possible, but, it's not possible. Yeah, I don't know. I've been a damn fool for a large portion of my life. And I am not even going to start now with being, oh no, not me. Because I know for a fact that if it's going to be anybody, yeah, no. So, caution and alertness and making sure things are authentic going forward. Some of the collaborations I have been so blessed to participate in, and always learning and teaching and learning and growing. I love the teachship. I think that has been so amazing. Just so much. I learned just in learning that there's a teaching learning relationship. Got to start somewhere, right? Has already been forgotten just in touching and reaching for notebooks to figure out what to write notes down in for this. I just knew, like, that one's going to be great, but that's not the one. There is so much stuff written down and forgotten in these books. If I decide to read them and share them over, like go over them with you guys, we could have some fun. But I don't know, see, that's all the old stuff, and everything's different and new now. It's just amazing. And that's the whole thing, right? It's like I barely got along in the world in the old way. I barely figured out how to learn how to start waking up in the last couple of years in the energy in the world we were in. And that's all shifted now. And I've shifted with it hard and fast. And like we came out of it like almost like a blank, starting fresh, like need a new download. I don't know. But it's put me in this place where everything's just a big old question mark, right? And I wrote it down when I was trying to figure out what is it that's going on. Am I supposed to have this channel? Is there even any need other than to watch other people's videos? Is there even any need to have any of this with all of the censorship and the new guidelines and all of the attempts at fearing people about, their content? And I experienced fears in my life. I just don't live there anymore. So I wasn't really sure if it was worth it. And the experiences and relationships, the attachments, the connections. Yeah, those have been done. So it's time, right? Reflecting. So what is it actually? I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I doing? I'm like Naughty Beaver at this point, right? Just turned 50 years old, unemployed, 22-year-old, $1,000 car, living in my parents' basement on some spiritual mission that is now so unclear. I have no idea who I am and am anymore. Exactly where I'm supposed to be. Going not separated, but not really together with anybody else along all of the connections that we've all had so close and so tightly. Which is kind of, everything's for a purpose. Everything's got a reason. So that's part of where we're at right now and why we're here. I'm going to be continuing with this. Is there a reason? Is there a need? And what are we going to do with it if I do? Because it's got to have pure intention. It's got to have pure purpose. It's got to be real, true, authentic, relevant. And most of all, it's got to be me. Because, I started this for a certain reason, and that was purely intended. I was a completely different person. I don't even know who she was now, but... And I think Relentless Maverick does have a way about getting a person to step out and do a journey that they're not too sure they want to take, right? And here I am now on this channel going, what am I doing with this thing anyway? Different purpose. But here we are, right? So, yeah, and there's another person. Steve Olson. There's another person. WSO, right? Great people. Pass through each other's worlds. Not really a part of each other's worlds, but completely relevant and necessary, at least for me, to be where I'm at right now. So in trying to figure out exactly what it is, I figured it out. And what I am doing, now that we're almost, 15 minutes into this, I am seeking homeostasis in the new energy and the way in truth, clarity, knowing, transparency, and authenticity. I like to make sure people understand what I'm saying nowadays. It's been a tripping point throughout my life, communication. I'm sometimes not very good at it, so, excuse me. to put extra effort and make sure. So homeostasis. When I say homeostasis, I mean the tendency toward a relatively stable equilibrium between interdependent elements, especially as maintained by physiological processes. Equilibrium is a state in which opposing forces or influences are balanced. An example would be human beings and planet Earth are interdependent, however, in homeostasis. I'm sure we all know that. And that's what I'm seeking, homeostasis. Equilibrium. I function in flow now, constantly in the moments of change. And I have this thing about balance. And balance, see, I'm from the ocean, right? You always like to try and stay in balance when you're standing in the ocean and the tide's coming in or out. That's kind of how I imagine equilibrium. Keeping that fluid, flowing balance in the momentum and the movement of the energy, while being in proportionate relevance to the interdependent areas of necessity. For example, standing in that ocean, standing in maintaining equilibrium in the flow of the water. The interdependence is the sand that is uncles. The interdependence is how much water is around me, enough over my head, under my head. The interdependence is how far am I from the shore. Interdependence is part of the homeostasis. So that's an example for the purposes of understanding what I mean. I'm seeking homeostasis in this new energy to stay in the way and do it in truth, clarity, knowing, transparency, and authenticity. Completely relevant to who I am and not who other people think I am or are sure that I am or know that I am. See, so that I wrote this, and this is where we're going to go with it. I'm not sure of the purpose of the channel, and when I sought what the purpose was, I was compelled to be positive of the direction of the content. But I promise that it will be truthful, transparent, authentic, and real to who I am. You may not always like me or what I have to say. Let me take a moment to clearly state that it is none of my damn business if you like me or what I have to say or how you feel about me. And I promise to always strive to mind my own business. I'm not much of a fan of gossip. No good comes from it. It's damaging to everybody on every level, interdimensionally, into eternity, in both directions. Not a fan of gossip. I'm always open to ideas and suggestions, and I like questions. Not questions, but questions that require us to seek answers. So I started this channel over. Right now we're going to start over, and we'll determine together where it's going. Right now I've recently started the Course in Miracles in the right manner, rather than in my own way. I'm restarting a lot of things. And you're welcome to come along with me. I welcome anything you wish to say about this, any ideas, questions, comments. I'll do my best to be here and connected, but I do have to re-enter the matrix probably full half, so time and a half, to get some things taken care of and out of my way going forward so that I can take care of myself and be on the road as needed back and forth and still meet my family's needs as well as all the others. So there's endless possibilities. of what we can do, where we can go, what we could talk about, the joy we can share, the peace building and peace sharing tools we can share and work on together. And I thank you for being here with me. It really does mean a lot to me. You're very important to me. Thank you.